the way it works is next time there'll be a list. You would sign up for a time. We're in the classroom when we coach, literally 15 minutes. And we're just coaching on the structure, not the content. So we're there to see, are all the steps being followed? And then we're there to give you one tip. And it looks literally like this. So teacher's teaching, the students are in a structure. Let's say it's a rally robin, they're talking. I'm going to say, okay, now I want you to try this. One tip, and then I'm going to let you see the difference. What we understand about the coaching process, or in anything in education, specific and immediate feedback is most valuable. Giving feedback an hour later doesn't really help as much. It's more helpful, and you'll each get an email of a feedback form, if you have that discussion in the moment, and you can make the change in the moment. So that's what it looks like. And we should see 16 to 20 teachers in a day. And it's bam, bam, bam. And you'll have the chance, like I said, to prepare. I want to give some things that I could see that you could start working on. First of all, would be, number one, is there needs to be a way to get their attention. And it has to do with the brain science. And it has to be some sort of quiet signal. I raise my hand, and that's what I modeled in a lot of classes today, but it doesn't need to be that. It can be anything, but it needs to be a way to quickly focus them in. And then they need to practice it. And the hardest part is not talking over and waiting. And so I said that's number one, to get that down. The second thing is, if they're in teams, and if they're in, and they have a shoulder partner and purposeful teams. And, for example, in a class that I created random teams that I knew weren't going to work. But I didn't have time to create the team purposefully. I didn't know anything about the students either to do that. I knew from one team, I said, oh, these two shouldn't be in a team together. I would definitely separate them, okay? But purposeful teams, so they understand who their shoulder partner and who their face partner is, putting them into a structure is much faster. When it's faster, it's even more successful. It doesn't take up as much time. And so that would be this, I have like feedback for the school that would say next steps, what can we do? And then when they don't talk, that is a sign that they don't feel safe. And what we modeled, when we walked around this, I said, watch, I wanted you to see the difference today between watch what happens if we put them into a structure without doing a quick team builder first versus if we do a team builder first. And it was evident. I mean, it was like night and day to see how students would share or they wouldn't share. For example, in your class, I had them quickly I wanted to talk about Nelson Mandela, so we said, let's first them have, we're looking at like figures of importance, okay? And so I said, who do you think will be remembered after they die? Was my question. Name people. And they can all do that. It was an easy question they can all answer, okay? But they're getting used to the structure and they're getting comfortable talking and taking turns, which is a social skill. Then I asked a second question that was more content-based. So, team building and class building is key. And without it, they're not going to do it. And sometimes that seems like, it might appear like fluff, but the brain science behind it is all there. If we want them to work on our content, they need to feel safe. If they don't feel safe, they're not going to share. And the only way to increase the rigor, truly increase the rigor with students, is they have to be the ones answering. We know the information. We don't need to actually speak it. We know it. Until we ask them the question that gets them to speak, we're not requiring anything of them. Either speak and write, or just speak. So those are the four things. The quiet signal, team building, class building. Team building's twice a week. Class building's once a week. It can be very quick. And then putting them into teams and labeling them with letters and numbers. And that'll be emailed out, certainly to the administrators, so they can sort of, give you sort of, okay, let's think about where we can focus. And then next time when we come in, we can, of course you can have some time to prepare. Imagine that. Having extra time. So anyway, other than that, I guess I'll see you January 29th for our PD day, day 2. And it'll also come together of how to create the multi-structural lesson. So, okay, that's it, yeah.
I had a quick question about what do like remainder students, or when there's a lot of absences, do you switch up the teams to always make groups of 4? How do you add a 5th person? Like in
Great
class,
question.
I have like a class of like 12 people, but they're all there, what should I do?
So the remainders are, first of all, when we have students absent, it's very frustrating in any situation, but specifically with when we're implementing structures and someone's not there. If each situation is a little different, if you have half your class absent, let's say, for whatever reason, okay, and you really wanted to have them do team structures because you wanted them to hear 4 different opinions, I might quickly just then and there switch it up. But you have to then do team building because they're not with the people they're normally with. So if I don't want to do that, I might just have them work in pairs. So they might not be complete teams of 4, but are there pairs? And maybe I only have to move one person, and I just keep my structures as pair structures that day. And so with time, I wish I had a better answer. With time, you're able to make that quick decision on the fly about, well, do I want them doing a round robin that requires 4 students? Am I willing to spend the time to make new teams just for today and do the team building required for that? Or am I going to just adjust? Because the way to think about it is a rally robin, okay, we have an idea. We each share an idea, back and forth, back and forth. That is the same thing as a round robin, except it's 2 versus 4. So you can take the same exact question. A timed pair share, you're going to speak for 30 seconds, then I'm going to speak for 30 seconds, is the same thing as a timed round robin. Each student has 30 seconds to speak. It could be the same exact question. It's a matter of, do you want just them to hear one other opinion, one other idea, or do you want them to hear 4 ideas about the topic? So when that really gets ingrained, it becomes a lot easier to switch and prepare. Does that help give you a sense?
Yeah.
An answer? Okay. But those are hard at first. The better you get using structures, the easier it is. So yeah, so January 29th, you'll learn 2 great ones that are one called Fan and Pick and one called Quiz Trade that I think you'll be able to quickly see the value of in the classrooms. And that's where we'll go from there. And then next time, we're still working on new dates because the calendar got changed.